Okay, good morning everyone. So in yesterday class, we discussed about how to execute the test cases, and during test execution phase for every step, we will update actual result and status. That's what we understood. Okay. So in today's class, we are going to discuss how to identify, suppose if there is some mismatch between expected result and actual result is not matching. Okay, then we are going to update whatever is happening in the system. We are updating here, and we are that particular step we are failing. Okay, so after that in the system you have to report that issue. Okay, how to report that issue, let's see that one. So I'm going back to defect parameter section, tab section. So in the HPALM tool, okay, in the HPALM tool, కొంచెం అటు జరగనందు కొంచెం. Once if any of the test case is failed and the expected result and actual result is not matching, then you have to log the defect in the system. Okay, so how to log the defect in the system, that's what we need to understand. So generally people will use HPALM tool or Jira tool to log the defects, to report the issues in the system. Okay, so now I'm telling, so generally if it is whatever tool it is, so there will be some defects tab. Okay, once you navigate to that tool, you need to click on defects tab, and you have to click on new defect. Click on new defect. After that, these are the form page will be displayed. So you can and you have to enter all these details. Okay, you have to enter all these details. So issue description, you have to write, so summary of the title. So first you need to write short summary of the defect. Not able to navigate skills page, you have to write that short description. And issue description, after clicking on admin qualification skills, I could not able to navigate to skills page. Like that you can write detailed description. And steps to reproduce, logged in so and so admin and admin 123 user, and I clicked on. So you need to perform, you need to write each and every step for that particular step where it got failed. And actual result, whatever is happening, that actual result you need to write it. Expected result, what you are expecting from the system, you should be navigate to skills page. Okay, and the test environment details, which of the application URL that you are using, you have to specify that application URL, username and password. And the test data, suppose you are testing some banking account number, or for an existing account customer you are modifying the customer address details. So in such case you have to specify the customer account number, or account number whatever it is, so that based on that account number he will navigate to that page and he can search it. So you have to specify the test data, which type of input data that you are using, you have to specify that. And while logging the defect, you have to give priority and severity. Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4. And severity 1, severity 2, severity 3, severity 4. So one of the drop down value you need to select. Priority 1 or priority. So like that, you know. So what is mean by priority? What is mean by severity? We will discuss now. And assign to, who is the developer? So you need to populate the developer mail ID. Okay, so to whom you are assigning that issue. Okay, and after that, initially the defect status will be new status. Okay, initially by default the defect status which contains various drop down values. Okay, what are these drop down values, we will see. And you have to select on which project that you are working, that project name you have to populate it. And test phase, is it SIT phase, is it FAT phase, or is it UAT phase? UAT phase means user acceptance testing. So if the client side team is testing that one, so you have, so client side people, they will select UAT. If it is functional team, we will select FAT, functional acceptance testing. Okay, and SIT means system integration testing. There will be SIT team also will be there in the project team. So they will do, so in which phase this defect has been occurred. So you need to select either SIT or FIT or UIT. So after that, there will be some attachments tab will be there. Okay, there will be some attachments tab. So whatever snapshot you are capturing the screenshot from login to whichever pages you have navigated. So each and every snapshot you have to place it in a Word document, and that document you have to upload it here. Okay, so you need to attachments tab, you need to navigate to attachments tab, and you need to browse that attachment, and finally you have to click on submit, so that a defect number ID can be generated, 1112 or 1113, 1114, like that. Okay, so like that. So after that, so like that you need to report an issue. Understood, everyone? So now let's come back to what is mean by priority and what is mean by severity. So which one I have to give priority, which one I have to give. So first of all, we need to understand what is mean by priority and severity. Okay. Severity indicates how much impact of failure on application, how severe defect is affecting to the functionality. Okay. So severity indicates how much impact of failure on the application. Okay. Or how severe the defect is affecting to the functionality. ఎంత ఇంపాక్ట్ చేస్తుంది అనే దాన్ని డిటర్మైన్ చేస్తుంది. సో S1 critical means a set of test case functionalities are blocked. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఆ స్పెసిఫిక్ టెస్ట్ కేసే ఫెయిల్ అయింది అనుకోండి, క్రిటికల్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఫెయిల్ అయితే we will give S2 high, a specific high important functional flow failed. But because of that issue, so many other test cases also blocked. Okay, then we have to give S1 critical. Understood? So in this case, not able to navigate to skills module. Do I need to give S1 critical or S2 high? I'm asking question. You got the point, right? So if a set of test case functional flows are blocked, okay, then we have to give S1 critical. Only that specific test case is getting failed, then we can give S2 high. So I am not able to navigate to skills module. So is that is the only test case is getting failed, or any other test case also getting failed? Other test case also getting failed. So in this case, do I need to give S1 critical or S2 high in the defect parameters? So I need to give severity S1 or S2 in the drop down. What I need to give? I have to give S1 only, because so many other test cases also getting failed. Okay, and blocked, because unless this issue is not resolved, we cannot go and test it. So I have to give S1 critical. S2 high, a specific high important functionality flow failed. So if it is only getting failed only one test case, then we can give S2 high. S3 medium, a medium functionality was broken and there is no much impact on the functional flow. Okay, so something like that. You have added primary address, okay, and you have added secondary address, and the functionality also it is working fine. Okay, but if there is no much impact on the functional flow, but the look and feel alignment, the look and feel, that issue is not properly there. The look and feel of that web elements displaying is not properly aligned. So such kind of, if you are feeling not a high critical functionality and some medium functionality was broken, then we can give S3 medium. S4 low means cosmetic errors like spell checks, alert pop-ups, and etc. Suppose you are getting, there is a spell check in the, are you sure you want to delete? So there is a delete, DELETE. So the spelling mistake was written incorrectly. DELET he has written developer. So in such case, we can give S4 low, because it is not impacting, and functionality also it is not stopping at all. So we can give S4 low. Understood? So Severity indicates how much impact of failure on the application and how severe the defect is causing to the functionality. So that is what it indicates. Okay. And priority means how much urgency required and or how fast a defect has to be fixed. P1 critical means it has to supposed to fix it within 1 working day. P2 high means it's supposed to fix it within 2 working days. P3 medium means it's supposed to work within 3 working days. P4 low means it has to fix it within 4 or 5 working days. Okay. So this is this. So simply priority indicates time. Suppose if it is S1 critical issue, do I need to give, what is the priority I need to give? In this case, do I need to give P4 low? Okay. Do I need to give P4 low? No. Because your entire testing is blocked and you need to push the developer. So you have to give the priority as P1 critical. Understood? So like that. So depends on the severity, you have to give the priority. Okay. So like that. So simply priority indicates time, how much time it will fix that issue. Okay. Suppose if you are giving P4 means, so the developer also, he will take enough time because you are giving P4. So it will take 4 or 5 days to fix it. Okay, right. So whenever you are logging any of the defects, okay, if you are giving S1 means all the development team and testing team will be alerted on that issue, even client also. Okay, that means it is stopping the functionality. You could not able to test it, and you have given an high alert to all the people. Okay, so simply, so by default, the system, it will selected as S1 critical. If you don't change the value, okay, immediately you will get the call to your extension, and they will ask you why you have logged S1 critical. Can you please explain what is the stop, what it is stopping? Immediately, development team, project manager, everybody will call you. Okay. So on the defect, the major important parameters are severity and priority. Okay. Suppose if you are giving S1, you have given and you are giving priority as P4. You have logged as S1, then why you have given P4? Why you are giving 5 days time to developer? They will ask your project manager. Okay. So generally, if it is S1, people will give the priority as P1 because that is a critical issue that it has to be fixed within same day. Okay. So like that. So ensure priority and severity is giving correctly according to that one. Okay. So that's it on defect parameters. Okay. Right. So we understood how to log the defect. Okay. And after that, in the test case attributes, besides the status column, there will be a defect ID column will be there. Okay. So in that particular step, you need to mention that defect ID 1112 like that. Whatever defect ID it will generate, that defect number you will link. You have to update it on that specific column. Right. Now let's come back to the next point. Almost in all the interviews, I'm telling about this diagram. So by default, in all automation testing interviews and manual testing interviews, people will ask this question. How the defect life cycle you are following in your projects? They will ask you this question. So the moment when you log the defect status, it will be in new status. So when I will execute the test case, if there is any mismatch between expected result and actual result in the test case step, then I will log the defect in QC. Okay. And when I log the new defect, the initial status is in new status. So I told you the defect status, which contains various parameters, like various drop-down values. Those are new, rejected, open, default, fixed, pending retest, and failed retest, and closed. So now let's come back to when the defect is assigned to development team, the defect status, it will be in assigned or open status. So once you log the defect in any of the project, okay, there will be a defect triage call which will be conducted by test lead, your test lead. Okay, he will conduct that defect triage call. He will invite all the development team And if required, he will also invite BA and design team and testing team in that meeting. So daily defect triage call, it will be there 2 to 2:30 or 2 to 2:45 like that. So most of the cases in the second half, they will conduct the defect triage call. In that one, whatever defect that you have logged, your team lead will go through that defect and he will assign that issue to development team. So during that time, the defect status, it will be changed to open, or it will be changed to assigned. It will be assigned status, it will be changed to assigned, so that development team will work on that issue. So if the status is in assigned or open, means that issue is working by development team. Okay. And after that, if the development team has been identified that issue and the code has been fixed, okay, and the issue has been resolved, and immediately they will change the defect status to fixed. Okay, that means they have tested that issue in their development environment. Suppose ICICI Bank 2.com is a development environment. ICICI Bank 1.com is a test environment. Okay, so when this code is working fine in ICICI Bank 2.com, the same code, it will be migrated from development environment to test environment. So when the code is migrated from development environment to test environment, the defect status, it will be changed from fixed to pending retest. Okay, so the code has been migrated to ICICI Bank 1.com. So now you can test it your application. Okay, so if the defect is in pending retest, the tester is the responsible person who has to test that issue. So if it is working fine, we can change the defect status to closed, and we can add the test evidences of the Word document, snapshots and everything. And we will change the defect status to closed and we will submit. Okay. In case the defect is not working fine, you can change the defect status to failed retest, and you can write the detailed steps, how it got failed, what is happening, actual result, expected result, and everything. You have to update that issue. And again, you need to back assign to the development team. So on the next day, during your defect trace call, whichever defect is in failed retest, your test lead will go through that issue and he will assign back to the development. Understood? Okay. Sometimes the defect might be rejected as well. You have logged an issue. Okay, see here I have written, if the defect is not valid and not able to replicate the issue because of tested data, we can change the defect status to rejected. Suppose you have tested incorrectly. That is completely your mistake. You have understood differently that functionality, and might be you are using wrong data. Okay, and might be that issue is not able to replicate in the test environment. So ICICI Bank 1.com, previously when you tested it, the issue got replicated, but whenever you are discussing during the development time, again that issue you could not able to replicate. So in such case, the defect status, you can change it to rejected. So once it is rejected, means it is rejected. And finally, deferred. Sometimes if the defect is in assigned or open status, because the developer either it has to fix it or he has to defer it. When the defect will go to deferred. Okay, sometimes the defect, so you have logged an issue, but that issue was not in the scope of current requirements. Okay, but you thought it's an issue from the current requirements. So based on your requirement, you have written test case, but after investigating that issue, developer has concluded this issue is not related to current scope. Might be you are correct. Okay, but might be that is an issue, but this is not scope for current testing. For current release, this functionality was not there. Like that, the developer has given comments. In such case, the defect will be during the defect trace call, the test lead, he will call out our BA and design team. So developer is commenting, so this is not scope in the current release. Okay, could you please comment this? Yeah, this functionality was not there in the functionality. We can test this issue in next release. Okay, next release means, so not in the current scope of the release. For every month, there will be some new functionalities are delivering. So in the current month, this functionality was not delivered. Okay. And that means that issue was not fixed in the current release. That issue is targeted for future release. Okay. So in such a case, means that defect was not fixed by development team. So that so these defects will be fixed in future releases. So in such a case, the defect lifecycle status can be maintained as default. Okay. So like that, these are the, so under defect statuses, these are the drop down values which contains. Understood? So if you join any of the project, you need to understand how this defect flow is working. Okay. So if it is defect is in pending retest and simply you are sitting ideal, I don't have any work. You have to navigate to your defects tab and you have to check whether the defect is in pending retest or not. And you have to test it. You are the responsible person. Okay. Sir, I haven't seen the defect is with me. The only responsible, the main responsible for the tester is, if the defect is in your scope, you have to test it. That's it. Okay. So like that, the defect life cycle can be followed in any of the projects. So we understood priority and severity. So while logging the defect, you have to give the priority and severity, and we have to give defect. So we have to follow defect life cycle, and all this stuff we have to follow. And let's come back to the next point. Two-week span of time, we can call it as a sprint. Okay. And 2 week span of time, we can call it as another sprint. So monthly you are so in sprint one, it contains around 8 to 10 user stories. User stories means requirements. Okay. So he will give the updates. So the customer is asking adding of secondary address. The customer is asking adding of secondary address. Such additional new features people are asking. Okay. So such type of requirements coming from employees module. So like that for every story. So here are 8 or 9 user stories. So 2 week span of time I'm calling as a sprint. This is monthly release. So once one sprint is completed, we can say one sprint release completed. Once after 2 weeks, one more sprint to release is completed. Like that we have to tell. So during this monthly release, okay, for every sprint, okay, development team, BA team, design team, all the teams, they will work on parallel. Development team, they have to develop the test, they have to develop the software. They have to give that application URI or build. They have to give that build to testing team, and testing team also what needs to be tested. He has to prepare all the list of test scenarios and test cases. Once we receive the build, we have to perform all the testings. And for every snapshot, we have to capture, for every test case wise, we have to capture the screenshots. Okay. Capturing of those screenshots in the Word document, we can call it as a test execution. Okay. And we have to update actual result and status. So like that. So for every monthly basis, okay, there will be one release. Okay, now let's come back to, so like this, the process will start. Okay, now let's come back to SDLC and STLC. Okay. SDLC means software development lifecycle. which contains various phases like requirements, design, coding, and testing phases. So for any of the project, these are the 4 phases will be there: requirements, design, coding, and testing. So in requirement phase, we have to go through the requirements analysis and understanding BRD and FRD documents, and we have to go through the each user story description and acceptance criteria, and we will be involved in requirement walkthrough sessions by BA and designers. So the BA and designer, he will give the he will give the walkthrough session about the new user stories, what it contains. Shortly, we can say testing phase will be started from requirement phase itself. Okay. So if anybody will ask you when testing will be started, means it won't start after coding. Okay. So the testing will be started from the requirement phase itself, because we are involving from the requirement phase itself. Coming to design phase. So development and testing. So during design phase, development and testing team will be involved in HLD and LLD documents, like all high level and low level design documents, which are prepared by BA and designers. So I told you, BA and design team, they will prepare HLD and LLD documents, high level functional flow diagrams and low level design documents. So they will prepare some pictorial diagrams, how the system will work. So they will give, so during this design phase, development team will be involved in technical part and pseudocode understanding from the technical documents. Okay. And testing team will focus on test scenarios and test case design effort. And test scenario walkthrough session will be planned for business analyst and design. So, so during our design phase, so even testing team also will try to understand each and everything, and they will be listed out. Coming to coding phase. So during coding phase, completely the development team, once they are clear about the pseudocode and sample things, so they will develop complete software. Okay. Coming to testing phase. So in testing phase, these are the phases will be there: requirement analysis phase, test planning phase, and test case development means test case design phase, and after that test environment phase and test execution phase, and finally test cycle or test completion phase. So these are the phases will be there. Okay. So these phases we can call it as a STLC, software testing life cycle. So SDLC means for any of the project, these are the phases will be there: requirements, design, and coding and testing. So particularly in testing, whatever activities that you are performing, those phases we can call it as a STLC. Okay. Software testing life cycle. So the testing is started from the requirement phase, and you are prepared with the list of test scenarios, and you are ready with the build. So once the build is ready, the testing team will focus on smoke testing, sanity testing, progression, regression, and all these testing activities will be performed. And we can share the test design and execution summary progress in daily dashboard. So how much percentage has been completed? Out of 700 test cases, we have completed 50. And next day we have completed 75. Next day we have completed 100 tests. So like that, you need to publish how many defects has been identified and how many test cases has been executed. Once SIT and the FAT and system testing is completed, the testing team will give the test completion certificate. So the test completion certificate, it will be prepared by your test lead. Okay. He will give you the consolidated output report. So the overall execution summary, which contains metrics and outstanding defects conclusion. So to all the project team and stakeholders. So these many out of 500 test cases, we have tested all 450 test cases, and 30 test cases are failed and 20 test cases are blocked. These are the list of the issues which was not fixed by development team on time. But from our side, we have completed all our testing. So like that, the test lead, he will prepare and he will give the test completion certificate walkthrough to the project stakeholders. Then project team and stakeholders will take a decision for the release to go or no go discussion. Go means it is a success. No go means it is not a success. Okay. So the client, he will take, okay, these are very light issues, we can go ahead with this release. Okay. So after a monthly release, the client will take the decision whether it is a go or no go decision, and accordingly further releases and actions will be taken care, and all new functional features will be into production like that. So all those new features, it will go into production. Okay. So in testing phase, these are the activities will be carried out. So I have mentioned, please go through these points, what I have, so in each and every phase, what will happen, I have given. Okay. So if you go through this part, you can easily understand. Okay. So software testing life cycle. So in STLC, so which contains all the test phases. So in STLC, there are various testing methodologies are there. Like waterfall model, V model, agile model. So in your companies, the test methodology can be followed any of the approach. So for a particular project, people might follow V model. So that test methodology means testing approach. Okay. People might follow waterfall model. People might follow agile scrum model. But 90% of the companies, they are following agile model only. Let's see what is agile scrum model. So in agile scrum model, so these are the summary points I'm going to explain. So in our current, so somebody asking you, can you please explain the scrum process, agile testing process that you are following in your current project? Yeah, we are following agile scrum methodology. So like this, you need to start. Agile is a continuous iteration of development and testing the software in an incremental approach. Development and testing the software in an incremental approach. It's not like that the product has been developed at one go. Suppose your mobile is patch updates is continuously coming, right? For every 2 months like that. So the product features are enhancing and adding. Okay. So development and testing the software in an incremental approach. So for every 2 months, you are updating your software. So in such a way, so we are following an incremental approach is called agile model. It's not like that the product has been developed in one shot and it has been completed. Okay. Project release will be planned for short-term releases for 1 month or 2 months max duration. So in agile model, so for every 1 month, whatever user stories, suppose sprint 1 contains 10 user stories, sprint 2 contains 8 user stories. So all the 18 user stories, it will be, so all those new features, it will go into the production. So there will be monthly release or the releases will be planned for 2 months. So the max duration, it will be either 1 month or 2 months, monthly releases. So in our project, you have to tell like this. In our project, we have 2 sprints. We are having 2 sprints, 1 release for every month. So monthly, we are having 1 release. The sprint duration is 2 weeks. You have to tell. So in some of the project, the sprint duration, it might be 3 weeks as well. Okay. So during those 3 weeks, how you are planning and how you are starting, they will ask you. In those 3 weeks, development team, they are developing the software parallelly. And our testing team, we are involving into user stories, walkthrough sessions. We are list outed all the test scenarios and test cases. And we have given test scenarios, walkthrough session to BA and design team. And after that, whatever test cases that we have developed, we are updating actual result and status, and we are capturing all the test evidences in a Word document for every test case. So all these activities we are doing in those 3 weeks, and we are proving all the sprint 1 user stories are correctly working fine. So generally in the first week, you will work out completely on the writing of test scenarios and test cases. And remaining second week or third week onwards, you can completely focus on test execution only. Okay. So like that, the testing activities will be planned. So in Agile model, we are getting all the requirements in the form of user stories with acceptance criteria and story points. So they will give you some short customer requires secondary address in the system, and these are in the secondary address. It has to enable primary or secondary checkbox like that. So they will give you bullet points what he is expecting. So acceptance criteria means bullet points. Okay, from that short summary of the description, what client is exactly asking, he will give you some bullet points. So for each and every bullet point, you need to write a test case. So later we will also get detailed BRD and FRD documents. So తర్వాత మీకు PDF డాక్యుమెంట్స్ కూడా వస్తాయి. ఫస్ట్ ఏమో చిన్న చిన్న డిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఇచ్చి బుల్లెట్ పాయింట్స్ ఇస్తారు. తర్వాత మీకు ఒక PDF డాక్యుమెంట్ విత్ స్క్రీన్ షాట్స్ కూడా ఇస్తారు. సో యూ విల్ గెట్ దోస్ BRD అండ్ FRD డాక్యుమెంట్స్. సో కొన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ లో ఇవ్వకపోవచ్చు, బట్ యూ నీడ్ టు సెటప్ ఏ మీటింగ్స్ and you have to get all the clarification from your required BI and design team, how system is going to develop, because that information is required to write the navigation paths and you have to write all the detailed steps because the software has not been developed. So in the application URI, once the application is ready, so your test case steps, whatever you have written, that should match exactly in the system. So in such a way, you need to write your test steps. So we understood. So simply we will start our testing from the requirement phase itself, and there will be frequent requirement and design changes will be there in the Scrum methodology. Okay, that means the client has given some new requirements. For a user story, he has given five requirements, and the next day, no, I don't want these two. I want these two additional two he has given. So he can change the requirement description at any point of time. In sprint 1 or sprint 2, he can come up and he has a right to modify the requirements. So once he has modified the requirements, so we also need to update our test scenarios and test case objectives accordingly. So such kind of rework will be there in the Scrum methodology.